Hello, today we're going to be solving inequalities in one variable. And solving an inequality is very similar to solving an equation. So you can see in my first example, I'm just going to solve and graph x plus 5 is less than 8. So all I'm going to do is get x by itself by subtracting 5 on both sides. And when I do that, the 5's will cancel, and so we get x is less than 3. Now to graph, because x has to be less than 3 and it can't be 3, we put an open circle on 3 and we shade where all the x's are less than that. So that's over here. Every single one of these numbers is less than 3. And again, it's an open circle because it's simply less than and not equal to. Not equal to. The difference in solving an equation and solving an inequality lies when you're dealing with negatives. So let me do an example here. We know that 5 is greater than 2. That's not a fact that we're really going to dispute. But if I take both sides and multiply by negative 2, my left side becomes negative 10, and my right side becomes negative 4. And so the greater than sign is no longer applicable because negative 10 is not greater than 4, it's actually less than. Okay, so anytime we do multiplication by a negative, we have got to flip the sign for the inequality. And it's not just multiplying, because another version of multiplying is dividing, so it applies to both things. When multiplying or dividing by a negative, you must flip the inequality symbol. Pause the video if necessary to get this into your notes. So as a final example, let's graph and solve this inequality. Negative 2x is less than 16. And so the goal is always just to get x by itself. And so when I take negative 2x and I divide it by negative 2, and I take 16 and divide it by negative 2, because whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. By virtue of dividing the negative, we have to flip the inequality so that it's greater than now instead of less than. So we end up with x is greater than negative 8. And once again, because we're just greater than and it's not equal to negative 8, we have an open circle. And all the numbers that are greater than negative 8 lie off to the right. And so we shade to the right with an arrow to show that it goes on forever and ever. And we are done.